December 1620, Plymouth, Massachusetts. And I have expectations about what's inside this building. I expect it to be primitive, cold, depressing, probably smell terrible. I expect to feel sorry for everyone inside. Sawn timber, saw, not logs. Clay and moss in every gap. These people knew what they were doing. 3 feet of packed rye straw. Legitimate insulation. This isn't improvised, it's English building technique. First thing I didn't expect. The construction is competent. Pilgrims were craftsmen, not farmers stumbling in the dark. Oh, it's warm. That's the first thing. I expected cold. It's warm. The fire is working. Central hearth. The fire never goes out, someone tends it around the clock. One fire heats everything. That pot is always going. Pea soup, corn porridge, whatever they had. It's not just heat, it's the kitchen. I expected a pit in the ground. This is a functioning masonry hearth with iron hardware. The walls are dark from smoke, but tight. No drafts I can feel. They sealed this place seriously. The smoke goes up through the thatch. The whole roof acts as a filter. It's not ideal, but it works. I expected a primitive shelter. What I found is a designed, functional building. Not comfortable, Bao, but real. It's organized. There's a layout here. Fire zone, sleeping zone, storage. Someone made decisions about this space. The sleeping area. Count the pallets. There are way more than I expected for this floor space. Straw pallet on packed earth, 3 to 4 inches of straw, less than a foot from the next person. 102 people came on the Mayflower. This building held dozens of them through the winter, all in one room essentially. Moisture on the wall next to me. The cold comes through here at night. I feel it now. Second thing I didn't expect. This wasn't just a dormitory. This was a hospital. People were dying in here. Between November 1620 and March 1621, 45 of the 102 Mayflower passengers died. Right here, in this building. Scurvy, pneumonia, exposure, general exhaustion. Called it the general sickness. Half the colony was gone by spring. The tools are good quality. These weren't improvised. They brought proper iron equipment from England on the Mayflower. The Mayflower was packed with tools, seeds, iron hardware, fabric, weapons, books. They planned this methodically. The storage area, let me count what's here. Wheat flour, dried peas, salted pork, some grain. This is everything. Corn stored by the Wampanoag. They took it. Documented dawn. They knew it wasn't theirs. They actually paid the Wampanoag back for that corn later. Bradford wrote it. Not heroes, not villains, Tud. Complicated people. There's not enough here for over 100 people through a New England winter. This supply is already critically low. I expected food to be a problem. I didn't expect it to be this visibly bad already in December. The forest starts right there, 20 feet from this window, and they had no idea what was in it yet. Third expectation. The Wampanoag were the threat from the forest, the danger. That's the version I grew up with. That's also wrong. Without the Wampanoag, this colony doesn't survive its second year. Full stop. The Wampanoag had been watching them since they landed, for months, from in here, evaluating whether to make contact. The Wampanoag population had just been devastated by disease from earlier European contact. 90% of some villages gone. Massasoit, the Wampanoag leader, decided an alliance with the colonists was more useful than conflict. Strategic, not charitable. March 1621, 4 months in, they're down to 50 people. Then someone walks in and speaks English. The Wampanoag camp, not a temporary shelter, now a winter village with specific architecture. This is organized habitation. He's been watching me since I got close. Same way they watched the colony for months. Assessing. The Wetu, bent sapling frame, birch bark, woven reed mats. Warm, waterproof, portable. Better tech for this climate. He speaks English because he was kidnapped in 1614, taken to Europe, sold as a slave, escaped, got back, 1619. He came back and his entire village was gone. Wiped out while he was away. came home to nothing. A year later, he's teaching the Pilgrims to plant corn. He had every reason not to help them. I expected this side of the story to be simple. Victim and aggressor. It's people navigating impossible situations.
The Mayflower stayed through the winter. The crew was dying too. It didn't leave until April 1621. When it left Agrar, not one colonist got back on. They stayed, on purpose, knowing what winter had been.
Plymouth Rock, somewhere along this shore. The rock they supposedly landed on. Probably not, but the spot is real.
From the water, this settlement looks tiny. A few buildings, a cleared strip, forest on 3 sides. Incredibly exposed.
Now come, the food. I expected the Pilgrims to be terrible at feeding themselves. That expectation is partially correct.
Wheat from England wasn't suited to New England soil. First crop mostly failed. They didn't know that yet. Squanto taught them to plant corn in mounds, fertilize with fish. That changed everything for year 2.
Town Brook, the freshwater source. Squanto showed them this stream had fish, had alewife, herring, running thick every spring. That's cold enough to hurt immediately. And this was their drinking water, cooking water, fishing source, all in one stream.
Squanto taught them where to fish in the bay. Eels, cod, shellfish. A coast full of food.
The cornfield. Each mound has a fish buried in it as fertilizer. Squanto's instruction. Their first successful crop.
This plant is going to make it. After the winter they had, this plant is kind of everything.
I expected a deprivation story. It is that. But it's also about knowledge transfer. Someone taught what they lacked. October 1621. They made it. Harvest in. Something happens that becomes the most misrepresented meal in American history. First Thanksgiving. October 1621. First thing I notice, way more Wampanoag here than Pilgrims. 50 colonists, 90 Wampanoag warriors. 3 days, Edward Winslow wrote about it. No turkey mentioned. Waterfowl, deer, fish, shellfish.
No pumpkin pie, no mashed potatoes, almost none of the modern Thanksgiving menu was actually there. The cornbread is good, dense, slightly sweet. The crop that saved them how? Of course it's on the table.
I expected a cozy holiday origin story. It's actually a diplomatic meal between 2 groups who needed each other.
Evening. I've been here since dawn. I want to go back inside one more time before it's dark. It looks different now than this morning. I know more about what happened here. Same room, I'm different.
45 people died here, on those pallets, between November and March, while the others kept the fire going.
The healthy few tended the dying many. Bradford wrote about it. Without complaint was how he described it. They buried the dead at night, secretly, so the Wampanoag wouldn't know how few were left. Strategic in grief. I didn't expect to feel this. That's the title paying off. I genuinely didn't expect it.
Someone got up every night for this fire. Let it die in a New England winter. People die.
The common house wasn't one thing. Hospital, kitchen, bedroom, meeting room, storehouse. Everything, because nothing else existed yet.
Decisions in this room shaped American history for 400 years. Some good, some terrible ones that came later.
The Mayflower Compact Town, signed on the ship before landing. First governing document they wrote. Before any of this.
They weren't saints. Bradford documented the arguments, complaints, selfishness. Regular people in an extreme situation.
Here's what stayed with me today. I want to know if it landed for you. Drop it in the comments. None of them survived alone. Not the colonists, not Squanto, not Massasoit. Everyone needed someone unexpected. What expectation did today break? Not what you learned, Thud. What you thought you knew that turned out wrong.
I came in thinking this room would make me feel sorry for the people who slept here. I don't.
Something more complicated than sorry. They made choices, of some wrong quietly, in conditions I can barely imagine.
The fire is still going. Someone will feed it tonight, just like every night since November until spring. This fire is the story. Not the turkey, not the buckle hats. The fire that never went out survived. Outside, after a day in there, The cold is real. 1 minute out here and you understand what they managed.
The same sky they watched every night of that first winter, hoping the cold would break.
My expectations this morning: primitive, depressing, simple story of brave colonists and hostile natives. All wrong.
What I found: competent builders, a community managing catastrophic loss, two groups figuring it out together.
The Mayflower is out there in the dark, leaves in April. Not one of them goes with it.
They knew going back meant safety and food. Stayed anyway, after half died. I don't think I'd stay.
Cold granite, cold water, cold night. Same temperature they had every night that winter. The cold was constant, just constant.
That little glow, that fire is still right now in the dark. That's what survived the winter.
I came with expectations. I was wrong about all of them in specific ways. That's exactly what I wanted. The Common House is where a group decided to keep going when they had every reason not to. Which expectation did this video break for you? Pilgrims, Wampanoag, food, or something else? Tell me in the comments.
The fire inside is still going.
That's all.
That's enough.